Can't hear you.
We can't hear.
We'd like to call this membership meeting to order. At this time, we're going to ask Shirley Hansel to do our invocation, and then we'll go into our Pledge of Allegiance.
It's on.
It's on.
Pray with me, please. Our gracious and loving Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this beautiful day, this beautiful place we live. And we ask that you will be with each one of us here today. Help us all to work together to make Fort Clark a more better place to live. We just thank you for all blessings because we know all blessings come from you. Please bless our servicemen and women the world over. And just thank you for everything, dear God. And it is in the blessed name of your precious Son we pray. Amen.
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 Turn it back the other way, sure. Directional mic, turn it the other way. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. At this time, I'd like to thank all of you for attending this meeting. I see a lot of people out here. I do like to thank you for your efforts in making this meeting. It's good to see so many people in attendance. I think that most of you know who I am, but for those of you who do not, I am Debbie Isaacs, President of the Board at this time. On behalf of the Board of Directors and staff, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you here today to this, the 41st annual membership. And I spoke with some people a while ago who said this is their 40th meeting they have attended. Welcome. Since being elected to the board in 2011, it has been my pleasure to work with many of you members on a one-on-one basis and also the staff, whom I have got to know a whole lot better this year. As many of you know, we've had a very interesting year, but we are no different than any other small town or small community in which we have many ups and downs. We have a lot of people who have a lot of different opinions, but all in all, those of us who live here on a day-to-day basis and all of you who come just to enjoy and visit this place are very lucky to have such a nice place to call home. I would extend a hearty welcome to you and thank you all for coming and spending your morning with us. At this time, I would like to introduce our board members. Most of you probably know who they are, but I would still like to introduce them to you. We have Henry Garcia, our Vice President, who was appointed after the resignation of Sam Holloman in May of 2011. Larry Farlow, who is our Secretary. Larry was elected in March of 2011. Garland Young, who is our Treasurer, who is serving his third year, who will be serving his third year of a 3-year term. Steve Giblin, who was appointed on September the 21st after the resignation of Bill Hahn. I think we owe all these people a great hand for standing up. Once again, I'm the President, Debbie Isaacs. Also at this time, I would like to introduce our Interim Director of Operations, Janelle Hobbs, who was appointed to fill in for the position after Ron Stewart resigned in December. in the back there, everybody. Karen Keeley Peak. Debbie Isaacs. Ralph Saleh. Lee Winchell. Larry Farlow. Henry Garcia. And Hattie Burlett. At this time, I am going to turn over the floor to Larry Farlow, our secretary, for the approval of our minutes from last year's board meeting.
40th Annual Membership Meeting of Fort Clark Springs Association Incorporated was held Saturday, March 26, 2011 at the Post Theater, Fort Clark Springs, Kitty County, Texas. President Sam Holloman called the meeting to order at 10 a.m. with the following board members present: Bill Hahn, Vice President; Carlin Young, Secretary and Treasurer; Larry Farlow and Henry Garcia, Directors. Also present were Ron Stewart, Director of Operations; Janelle Hobbs, Executive Secretary; several staff members; and a number of Fort Clark Springs members. The invocation was delivered by Reverend Jeff Jonka, followed by pledges of allegiance. President Holloman welcomed those in attendance and noticed we were pleased to have such a good crowd. Board members Bill Hahn, Carlin Young, Larry Farlow, and Henry Garcia were introduced, along with Director of Operations Ron Stewart and Executive Secretary Janelle Hobbs. Candidates for the board were also introduced at this time, those being Debbie Isaac, Larry Farlow, and Ray Raymond. Approval of minutes. Secretary Young read the minutes from March 27, 2010 annual membership meeting. There being no corrections, Young moved to approve the minutes as read. The motion was seconded and carried with all in favor. Treasurer Young presented the financial report and introduced Rand Galloway of the CPA firm of Newman and Associates of Delaware. Galloway provided an overview of our financial condition. He explained that the association had a good ratio of debt to capital and noted there was an extraordinary revenue item, that being overpayment of approximately $110,000 on hail damage, and that set aside from overall revenue was down from the previous year. Director of Operations Ron Stewart first recognized all the employees and noted that employees had about 300 years of combined service to the association, and thanked them for helping to make his job easier. He explained that the recycling program manned by volunteers had prevented about 25 tons of recyclable material from going into our landfill. Dickman Hall and the old Officers Club was recently awarded the recorded Texas Historic Landmark status, which will entitle us to a tax break on this facility, and the individual has been hired to work out solely on collections. He also reported that operating is tough at this time, with the economy such as it is, and our revenue is down somewhat. He closed by thanking all the volunteers for their work throughout the fort. Director Henry Garcia recognized various committees, those being the Architectural, Recreation, Golf, RV, Preservation, and Nominating Committees. He explained the function of each of these groups and thanked them for their assistance to the board and toward the betterment of the association. Employee recognitions. Director of Operations Ron Stewart recognized all employees and expressed appreciation to them for their hard work and dedication. He announced that had Matt Bland, Supervisor of the Security Department, had been chosen the Employee of the Year due to his outstanding performance in this department. He was presented a plaque for his appreciation for his service. Director Larry Farlow announced that Lee and Julie Winchell had been named members of the year for their dedication toward the establishment of our recycling center, their involvement in various clubs and organizations, and the annual Fort Clark Day celebration. They were presented with a plaque of appreciation for their efforts to be of assistance wherever and whenever they were needed. Vice President Bill Hahn extended a thank you to the outgoing directors, Larry Farlow and Henry Garcia, for giving so freely of their time to provide an important service to the association. On behalf of the board, he presented a plaque to each of them for their dedication toward the betterment of the association. Vice President Hahn also recognized Nancy Burrick for this being the 23rd year that she has been responsible for the annual barbecue and expressed appreciation for her real efforts to ensure that the barbecue was enjoyed by all each year. He also recognized Joe Avila for his 40-year service to the association in the maintenance department, noting that he was also working for Brown and Root when they sold the Guest Ranch to North American Towns of Texas, and the association was created. He closed by recognizing and expressing appreciation of Al Pena, who had also prepared barbecue and beans for the annual meeting for the past 14 years, and explained that Albert was a descendant of one of the Seminole Medal of Honor recipients. Secretary Young then presented the names of candidates for the board, those being Debbie Isaacs, Larry Farlow, and Ray Rennie. He introduced Pat Bowers of the auditing firm of Glenn, Graff, and Bowers of Del Rio, who read the results and announced that Debbie Isaacs and Larry Farlow had received the highest number of votes. She went on to announce that neither of the two propositions had passed that had been presented to the membership for a vote. Young then announced that the results would be posted on the bulletin board in the lobby of the administration building. Secretary Young then administered the oath of office, officially swearing in Debbie Isaacs and Larry Farlow as new directors. It was noted they would both serve a one-year term. President Holloman announced the organizational meeting would immediately following this meeting, and that members were welcome to stay. Following announcements and with no further business, a motion was made, seconded, and carried to adjourn the general membership meeting at 11 a.m.
Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as read?
Make a motion. Read.
I have a motion and a second to accept the minutes as read. All in favor? Motion passes with 4 members voting. At this time, we're going to ask Garland Young, our treasurer, to give our financial report.
Before I give the financial report, I'll read a letter from the stating about Randy Galloway, our auditor. It says, "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, your auditor, Randy Galloway, was not able to attend the meeting this morning. He is recuperating from heart surgery with 5 bypasses. He does, however, plan to attend the April meeting and will present a full report at that time. Mr. Galloway did provide me with the following information. Our audit report will indicate the operating revenue was down from the previous year, and our operating expenses were up some. However, we're not up as much percentage-wise as revenue was down. The summary of our net loss will be $282,775. This is composed of a decrease in revenue of approximately $236,319, which includes motel membership sales, tax assessments, member assessments, insurance proceeds, and excessive repair, which was reflected in last year's statement but not in this year's. We also had an expense increase of $79,462 payroll and legal fees. Combining the decrease in the revenue, the increase in expense, the figures of $282,775, as I mentioned previously, is our net loss per down. I'll read the net loss and expenses. Insurance proceeds and excessive repair, $110,862.04. That was backed out because that was an overpayment. Motel revenue down $24,990.50. Income from membership sales, $48,731. Down. Tax assessments, up $26,906. Member assessments, down $24,829.75. Payroll, up $50,991.30. Legal fees, $28,470.96. If you add all those up, major components, you have a net loss of $315,781.55. All other net changes to losses, $33,006.01. Net loss, $282,775.54. Brandy did tell Janelle that we'll get the booklet that the audit report prints out in April, and he'll be here in April to give us a more comprehensive report. Thank you.
At this time, we're going to ask Henry Garcia, our Vice President, to do our State of the Association.
Good morning and welcome all of you. It's good to see so many people interested in the happenings of the fort. I hope it's not because we need a free meal after the meeting. But really, welcome all of you. It's you'll get some good information. Some information you don't want to hear, but you'll get it anyway. This past year, we've been working with a lot of the committees, and I just kind of want to give you a brief synopsis of what's been happening. First of all, with the Preservation and Restoration Committee, this past year they completed some needed maintenance and upkeep of some of our historical buildings. One of what I would consider one of the major accomplishments was getting Dickman Hall recorded as a Texas historical landmark. That will be placed around Dickman Hall here in the near future. What this does is this makes 6 buildings that belong to the association that are on this status. This helps us not only for, if you will, in getting people interested in visiting Fort Clark, but it also helps us on the bottom line. It offsets the property taxes that the property or the tax status that we have with the association. Moving on to the landfill. 4 more cells were constructed in the landfill during the past year, and as we move along, there will be other occasions that we need to add more. But landfill operation, the cost was approximately last year about $93,000. The city of Brackettville paying $84,000 of that in the landfill and the brush. The association sends the white goods and cardboard over to the city for disposal at no cost. There's also a lot more participation in the recycling center, and this is going to help us or prevent us from having to increase the cells as often as we had this time, because as we increase the recycling process, that's less garbage that goes into the landfill, and so that prolongs the life of those cells. Also, the recycling center is not just basically an overhead type center. They bring in some revenue. And this year the revenue was up. Last year they brought in $725 in recycling goods. This year it was up to 1,500. We've also encouraged the residents of the city of Brackettville to bring in their recycles. That turns into additional revenue and also, again, prevents a lot of material going into the landfill. We had to purchase a new garbage truck. Well, it's new to us, but it was another garbage truck because of the fact that the old one just finally gave up the ghost. It just couldn't get it going again, and it would cost a tremendous amount of money to repair it. So, the new computer system is almost up and running. We are doing some training on that new system. The employees that will be using it are being trained. For a while, we will be running both systems simultaneously until we get everything moved over and get everyone trained. Let's see, Deer Harvest. Deer Harvest this year brought in $30,000 this past season, and there was about 150 deer taken. The Architectural Committee approved 136 building permits, up from 110 last year. And these were carports, fences, new homes, decks, new roofing, various repairs. The Fort Clark Days Committee volunteers really deserve a recognition and appreciation for what they did this year during Fort Clark Days. Again, it was a very successful endeavor. It was, how should I say, it was money-making. Those funds come back into the Preservation Committee and will be used for the maintenance of the historical buildings. Also, we appreciate the work of the volunteers that show up constantly at the RV park. Their Saturday morning breakfasts also have RV are successful, and any money that is generated there is put back into the RV park for minor repairs and things that are needed. But I want to thank those volunteers that show up constantly in there. The Men's Golf Association just recently conducted the 23rd annual Lost Morris Invitational Tournament. Again, it was quite successful. A big portion of that money that is raised from that tournament goes back into the golf course for maintenance and repairs, but also that money goes a long ways because the work that is needed is generally done by volunteers. And thank you, volunteers. Speaking of volunteers, I would like to thank all the volunteers that we have here in this community that show up to do anything you ask them. It doesn't even have to be a committee. You need something done, you let people know, all of a sudden you have people volunteering, and that is greatly appreciated. It has made my job as a board member a lot easier, and I certainly want to thank all of you for your support and you volunteering to help out here. Thank you.
At this time, we're going to ask Steve Kivlin to do our committee recognitions.
Good morning. Good morning. 6 committees we'd like to recognize at this time. The first one being Architectural Committee. This 9-member committee reviews all applications for proposed construction for compatibility with the CC&Rs and the surrounding area. They also make recommendations to the board relating to CC&Rs for new units, receive and review infractions of CC&R violations, and follow through with necessary letters. They meet each Tuesday in the boardroom, 9 a.m. Recreation Committee. This committee, with 11 members, is responsible for maintaining an annual calendar of events for holiday celebrations and functions sponsored by area organizations and preparing a monthly schedule of events. They work closely with the Recreation Director as to courses of actions that may be available to help promote a harmonious atmosphere throughout the fort. This committee meets monthly at the Adult Center. The RV Committee. This committee, composed of 5 members, meets monthly during the months of October through April to present and discuss matters of interest and concern to the RV members of Fort Clark Springs. They work closely with the RV manager as to courses of actions available to promote the RV park. The Golf Committee. This 5-member committee addresses matters of concern and interest to the golfing members of Fort Clark. They work with the golf maintenance supervisor and pro shop supervisor to improve and promote the golf course and provide a harmonious and well-managed situation at the golf course. They meet monthly in the green room at the pro shop. The Nominating Committee. This is a 5-member committee appointed each September to nominate 2 candidates for each vacancy to be filled on the Board of Directors at the annual membership meeting the following March. Their nominations are submitted to the board at the December meeting. And the Fort Clark Historical Building Preservation and Restoration Committee. This is a 7-member committee composed of 2 Fort Clark Springs board members, 2 members representing the Fort Clark Historical Society, 2 members representing the Community Council, and 1 member representing the Kinney County Historical Commission. The purpose of this committee is to review proposals and plans for repairs and preservation of the association's historic buildings. I take this opportunity to offer a big thank you to all those members who volunteer to serve on our committees. We appreciate you very, very much. And also personally, I want to take this opportunity to thank each one of you for the privilege of being of service. I think you're all special people, and I think we all live in a very, very special place. And I pray that we keep it that way. Thank you.
I'm sorry, you thought you got rid of me. In my announcement, I failed to mention and recognize one of the most important groups here at Fort Clark, and that is the association employees. Without them, none of the stuff would get done. We need them on a day-to-day basis, and I, as a board member, want to especially thank them for all their hard work and their dedication to their job functions. Thank you.
At this time, we're going to ask Janelle Hobbs to give our employee recognition.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here. We've got a beautiful morning this morning. I'm sitting out on the back patio this morning and drinking coffee. I'm thinking, how fortunate, as others have said, that we are to be a part of this great place. I often say that when it's real still early in the morning or late at night, and I happen to live over here on Colony Road, and you don't hear any traffic on Highway 90. Things are quiet and still. And if you squint your eyes up real tight and listen carefully, you can hear the troopers marching out on par 3. People accuse me of what I've been drinking, but I like to look at that anyway. First of all, this is my 31st annual membership meeting to attend, to be part of. I came to work on a Monday morning. Along about Wednesday, the general manager and the president of the board came in and said that I needed to get things ready for the membership meeting. Prior to that, I didn't, I knew about Fort Clark, had been up here, but certainly didn't know what it took to put the membership meeting together. But we got it done, and since then it's worked out, I think, pretty good every year. I've worked for 14 or 15 different managers through the years. Well over 250 board members in that length of time. So if I act a little strange sometime or kind of shake or something, here's your sign. There's one individual that I would like to recognize this morning before we get to the Employee of the Year. She's been around Brackett most all of her life, married, and I'll go ahead and say this because you're all going to know who it is. She retired from work at Red Grand Electric. When I first met her, I guess 39, 40 years ago, she was a bundle of energy. This many years later, not dating either one of us, she's not changed one bit. She's still a bundle of energy. Always quick to volunteer in any area. Of course, she's the supervisor manager at RV Park. She filled in as recreation director. She filled in, ran the swim park operation one summer. She served on our board of directors, served on numerous committees, and once again, she's one employee that you can count on all of our employees, but she's one of the first ones to step up and say, do you need some help? What can we do? Let's give a big round of applause to Shirley Hanson. Very, very dedicated individual. She does our payables, our inventory, purchase orders, handles all of our purchasing. And there's something about her with the purchasing. I think it's that sweet West Texas drawl that she has. Because it seems that she can con our vendors and salespersons into almost anything. It's got to be the voice. A prime example is a couple of weeks ago it was time to order some windows for the motel. And we generally ordered from American Hotel Motel Supply. She was on the phone with them. The order was going to come to about $2,200 plus freight. And she had been talking to them about small businesses. That we're not a huge operation like many of the hotel chains are. And I kept pleading with them that they needed to do something to help us. We were suffering from the economy down here too. Well, by the time she got through with them, the $2,200 bill had turned into right at $1,500, and they paid the freight. So we have to produce lots of savings for the association and just working with the different vendors. Vital Walker has had some health problems, but has been to work many, many times that we know that she didn't feel like being there, but she's come on anyway with a smile on her face and looks great, willing to help anybody help us work through anything. I don't know if she's here this morning or not. I don't think she is. But Bobby, if you'll come down and get her plaque, appreciate it. for us.
At this time, I would like to present our members of the year. These are a couple of people, and I think basically it's one person, but she kind of tells him, come on, we're going to go volunteer, and this is what we're going to do. I know that I have personally been a member of Fort Clark Springs for over 10 years, and these two people have volunteered wherever they're needed, whatever they're needed for. And just a couple of things that I do know for sure that they have volunteered for are Fort Clark days, sometimes even spending 3 days totally working, even after they finish their shifts. They have participated in the Fort Clark Hunt. Anytime that the gun club put the Fort Hunt on, and then this year they stepped up to the plate, even hauling deer in the back of the car. I also know that when there's a fundraiser going on, they're out there, they're selling tickets, they're helping put the thing together, they're trying to tell people about the event, trying to get more people involved in it. They also have been a very strong supporter of the Los Morris Golf Tournament. Here again, they will work their shift, plus if nobody shows up, they'll go ahead and work another shift. So, I know they're not here all the time, all year long, but the 4 or 5 months that they are here, they are going real strong as volunteers for this fort, and I would like to present Kathy and Wally Warren, our members of the were voted to be the members of the year, I found out that we're not going to be here, but we will mail them their plaque. At this time, we're going to ask Garland Jung to do our outgoing directors.
Good morning. Most of these people, or some of these people, Steve will enjoy hearing this. On behalf of the Board of Directors and the membership, I extend a sincere thank to each of you whose terms are up this year. They have given freely of their time to provide an important service to the association and membership. Debbie Isaac and Mary Farlow were each elected last year. Henry Garcia was appointed to the board following the resignation of Sam Holloman, and Steve Gimling was appointed to the board after Bill Hines' resignation. And to each of these men, I would like to give a sincere thanks for keeping the place operating. I have enjoyed working with each of these individuals, and it gives me great pleasure to present these plaques. These are only a small token of our appreciation for your hard work and dedication toward the betterment of the association. Thank you. Debbie, yours is first. Here's Debbie Isaac's plaque. Barry Farlow, here's your plaque. Henry Garcia, here's your plaque. Steve Gimling, here's your plaque. Of all the people who are running for re-election, Steve's the only one that showed some smarts and he decided he wasn't going to run this year.
This time we will ask Larry Farlow to do our election results. We introduce our
So I get to have the fun. The election results, now the moment we've all been waiting for, and it's for the election results. And I'm pleased to introduce our auditor, Pat Bowers, of the CPA firm of Glenn, Graff, and Bowers of Del Rio. Thank you, Mr. Bowers, for joining us.
Good morning. Our firm was retained by Fort Clark Springs Association to tabulate the votes for the Board of Directors election. The ballots were mailed from Fort Clark's office to the members and then returned to our office where we tabulated them. We verified each ballot and tallied the votes. The following are the results of the election. The Board of Directors election: Robbie Robertson, 571 votes. Lee H. Winchell, 553 votes. Debbie Isaacs, 484 votes. Ralph E. Salade, 411 votes. Karen Keeley Peak, 405 votes. Hattie Burlath, 382. Enrique Henry Garcia, 370, and Lawrence Larry Farlow, 357. The proposition passed. There were 565 votes for and 360 votes against. Thank you. I'm sorry, let me repeat. The votes for the proposition were 565, and the votes against were 360. At this time, we're going to ask all the members that were voted in: Robbie Robinson, Lee Winchell, Debbie Isaacs, Karen Peak, Ralph Slade. To come up here for the swearing in ceremony.
Yeah. Where is she? Where? Are you sure? The lady that they are.
Went out that door. She went out the door, didn't she? She said she ain't fooling with them people. She's smart. That's right. Get out of here before the guns come out. Get out of here myself. I was going to see who got made food.
Before I swear anybody in, the first three highest vote getters will hold a three-year term, and the fourth highest person will have a one-year term and be re-elected next year if he so desires.
Where is she? Is she gone? I couldn't find her.
I swear that I will represent the interests of the membership to the best of my ability.
meeting, the new board will convene, conduct our organizational meeting. You are welcome to remain for this meeting. The barbecue lunch will be served at the Service Club at 11:30 following this meeting. The museum, Sutler Store, and the art studio will all be open this afternoon. There is also the end of the month golf tournament at 1 p.m. at the golf course. The Old Quarry Society presents a live concert at the Post Theater featuring the Borderline Singers tonight at 7:30. Bring your season ticket or $5, and it's BYOB, and be ready for a rollicking good time. There being no further business to come before this meeting, I will entertain a motion for adjournment. I have a motion and a second. All in favor? This meeting is adjourned with 4 members voting. We're going to ask all of the new directors to stay up here. We're going to have a short meeting. Anybody that would like to stay, you're more than welcome. If not, you can go on over and get your barbecue lunch. Thank you for coming, and we appreciate